Hey guys, Tentacles here, back with some more frankly amazing Dragon Age footage. People were concerned there wouldn't be enough dark themes to this game. Well, in this video, we showcase a fight with a Blighted Ice Dragon without all the clumsy UI. It's dark, there's tentacles and more. I'll let you know when there's hard spoilers coming. First, let's take a look at the build we'll be using to take down this Ice Dragon. We turn a melee electric specialization into a fire build able to stay at range by simply changing gear and a few skills. Quick reminder, if you like my videos, I'm celebrating being close to 250k subscribers by giving away huge prizes like a 4090 and copies of this game, so follow the link below and keep an eye out for the purple code hidden in this video. Here we see our loadout. The first thing you'll notice is we have a legendary fire elemental orb, which has been upgraded one time. It increases the burning duration, gives extra burning stacks which deal more damage a stack, while decreasing the amount of damage enemies do while they're burning by a huge 25%. As you'd expect, this is a Grey Warden themed item, so most likely can be purchased from them. As a Shadow Dragon, we are still able to equip gear from other factions. Our dagger though is not fire enchanted, it's a simple epic mage knife. However, what stands out is that triggering arcane bomb, which is when you get 3 stacks of arcane mark on your target and then use a heavy attack. You deal a critical, and critical hits apply an affliction based on your orb's damage type, which is fire, so it combos together. Both the mage knife and orb function without using any abilities. These are simply techniques attached to the weapons, so we'll be able to keep up the fire damage onslaught. Since we are affliction based, this epic helm increases the damage and duration. If we upgrade the death mask further, which you can do by buying or crafting the same item, we can unlock the ability to create an explosion when you apply 3 unique affliction triggers. Sadly, we don't have that yet, but it really would be putting icing on the affliction build. This doesn't impact combat, but you'll notice that the robes on are different to the armor we have equipped. We are using the game's transmog system to use an appearance of an item we like more. We have other bits of gear and some runes to round out this build, but let's move on to the skill tree. Here is a greater passive elemental catalyst, which gives your abilities plus 15% bonus damage based on the damage type of your staff and orb weapons. In our case, our orb is fire and so is our staff, so our abilities will get bonus fire damage, meaning we'll always be hitting that Ice Dragon for its weakness. Another greater passive is Inner Focus. This helps us sustain in longer fights, and light attacks, aka firing off our orb's ranged attack that applies the arcane marks, generates an additional 25% mana. The value is doubled against enemies suffering from an affliction, in our case, the burning effect. Generating extra mana is great as it lets us cast more abilities. One such ability is Meteor, one of the most powerful fire abilities. It costs 2 mana pips to summon down an elemental meteor that crushes enemies, burns them, and detonates any sundered effect on them. As you can see, we have specialized in the spell Blade. Now, those paying attention, especially those who watched my all class abilities video, will have noticed that spell Blade can specialize more easily in electric damage. Well, this is an example how that doesn't need to be the case. Looking over in its specialization tree, we see a greater passive, electrical burns. Applying burning also applies shocked, and vice versa. Since we focus heavily on afflictions, getting the shocked effect as well is fantastic, but this also means that the shocked effect applies burning, so the ultimate Thunderous End deals huge electric damage in an area but also applies 2 stacks of shocked, giving us 2 stacks of burning as well. So let's jump into synergies and combos. Here we see we've knocked the dragon over. This is what happens when it's staggered, aka the purple bar above its health reaches the pinnacle. You'll have some time to really pile on the damage and its weak point is exposed. So how about we apply the sundered effect so we can detonate it? Lucanus was brought along just for that, as his debilitate ability applies said effect for us. So we can detonate it with Meteor and our other ability, Dark Squall, an ice-based attack that detonates sundered. I would have personally used Meteor since it does fire damage and would have applied the burning and shocked effect, but Bioware wanted to show off this ability and it doesn't consume mana, so that's a plus. We can then follow up with Tasha's Fire Breath, which also applies the burning effect. Both companions are now on cooldown, so we can't burst the vulnerable dragon down with further abilities. Remember before I said we haven't covered runes yet? Well, this is where it gets interesting. Using the Dreadwolf's Lyrium Dagger, we have 3 runes equipped that have a passive and active effect. In this case, we have Daze and Vivify, which we toggle past to get to regroup. Activating Regroup instantly refreshes our companion's cooldowns, letting us combo off some more. So we use Debilitate again to apply Sundered, and then we queue up Meteor to detonate the Sundered effect. Now it makes sense why they use the cooldown based Dark Squall. However, I still would have preferred it the other way around, as we would be stacking more burning stacks and getting the damage from that earlier, as well as regenerating our mana. We also queue up Fire Breath. Releasing the ability wheel, we see the dragon has 7 stacks of burning currently, which means it's taking a lot of damage over time. Also, due to our gear, it would be putting out less damage too. Then we can finish it off with the ultimate, Thunderous End, to apply even more stacks. That's where the video ends. However, let's take a closer look at this scenario now that we know our Rook's build. Here we are in the Hosberg wetlands. If you are incredibly sensitive to spoilers, as in you consider snippets of a questline a spoiler, then now is your time to click off. It's very, very light in my opinion, but I completely understand if you don't want to see more. So we start off in a Grey Warden camp, we've scouted ahead and know that Blight Dragon's Den is there. Let's watch.
Rook, you made it. Good.
Wouldn't miss it. We have unfinished business with that dragon.
We've tracked it to a ruined tower nearby.
That lair is a death trap. We need to lure her out to have any chance. So we challenge her, draw the dragon out into the open, then attack. Just you and me now.
Everyone, get ready!
Wardens! Ready ballistas! Wait for it.
Come on. Come on.
Second detachment! Flank on the walls! Let's go!
Alright, so now it's time to put the new build to the test against Chorus, the Ice Talon. All dragons will be named and be quite a fight. We start off by using our staff's Jump Heavy Slam, which immediately applies 2 stacks of burning to the dragon. We back up and use the staff's shield in order to block damage from the dragon's heavy attack, though it does break through. We dodge its next attack and use the ability Dark Squall, which, as an ice attack, does very little to the beast. The dragon then shows us how an ice attack is really done, so it's best to dodge. Moving ahead, we have our orb and dagger weapon out now, and use its techniques to wheel down the dragon's health. Back to the staff for some light attacks before it fires off some more of those ice breath balls at us, which we can block with the staff's barrier. We then bring up the ability wheel. It's combo time. Debilitate first, then Meteor and Fire Breath. The combo hits, but the dragon winds up for a big leaping bite attack. Time slows, letting you dodge. This attack would deal critical damage if it lands. Back to some basic attacks, and the dragon lands a quick snap on Rook, knocking her briefly down. Back to the dagger and orb. We try to dodge through the tail swipe, but it comes back for round 2 and lands. Cutting forward, we dodge a bite and continue the onslaught of orb and dagger attacks. The dragon flies up and slams down. Luckily, we're not in the area. We queue up Debilitate again, but this time with Dark Squall and Tasha's Spitfire ability. You'll notice that its high stagger effect fills up the stagger bar quite a bit. The target is overwhelmed, the bar is filled, and it drops to the ground, letting us pile on damage where its vulnerable underbelly is exposed. We cast our ultimate, dealing huge damage. Cutting ahead, the dragon is defeated. But that's not the end of the story.
Press the attack! Bring that first one down!
Vaughn! Gillenane.
consume their flesh, shatter their bones. Your battle is already lost.
It seems Gillenane has healed the first ice dragon, and her second, fire dragon, is here now as well. What happens next? Do we fight both of them and an elven god, or do we flee? To find out more, you'll have to play. So that's everything. What do you think? More or less excited? I personally love how the game looks with the UI down, but most of all, as an RPG nut, my mind is swimming with potential builds. The replayability of this title seems insane. We could turn a melee electric specialization fully focused on fire and able to stay at range, meaning we could dodge that dragon's ground slam. We did this simply by changing gear and a few skills. There's so much cross-contamination going on that you should be able to craft anything that you can really think of. So thanks for watching, be sure to check out my competition and do the typical YouTube stuff. And for everything RPG, you're in the right place. Ciao friends.